right. Welcome back to Championship Rounds. Glad to be back. Got a lot of things moving around this week. Some things that I wanted to get to that I hadn't had the opportunity to. As always, before we get into anything, like, share, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate you guys that do that. And yeah, it goes a long way for me, more than you know. But enough of that. Really excited to bring in the guest that I have today. Been wanting him on for a while now. I'm glad we've finally been able to collaborate here. And I'm not gonna do it as good as he does it, but I got the host of Do You Hear Me? And that is one and only Unico Williams. What's up, Joe?
Hey man, what's going on, man? I'm happy to be here. You did a damn good job. I'm actually about to have to sample that and then just use that from now on. Epic.
Oh man, stop it.
Man,
No, I
thanks for
can't.
having me on here, man. You definitely, man, you've been grinding, dog. You do it all. And like I'm trying to like get into streaming and stuff like that. I'm like as far as I can't play COD. I'm sorry. I can't play any game. But man, I like watching other people do it and yeah, man, I'm loving it, man. So I'm glad to be here on your platform, man, and hope to make some new friends, man.
Hey, 100%. Hey, I'm gonna have the description, the link actually in the description for you guys to check out this show because a lot of good things are discussed. A lot of opinions that might go in line with yours might be different, but definitely worth a listen. So again, after you're done here, check out that. It'll be in the description. Joe, I gotta ask you one thing. I mean, you're always out there in the community. I respect that. You're out there, you're with the people, and you're letting people know what's going on, like especially sporting events for that matter. Like you're at the basketball tournaments, you're at the park. Like I just want to say big ups to that. The people that can't make it out to actually view these things live, they're brought up to speed and kept up to date by you. Big ups to that. What's your major inspiration for doing that?
Man, honestly, all I really wanted to do when I was like a little bitty kid, I just wanted to have a show called Love Jones, and where I just give people relationship advice with my single
Right?
ass. And then it just morphed into I just wanted to be a personality. I just wanted to host things and make people
Mm-hmm.
laugh and then bring out the next person. And then Raz, shout out to Coach Raz down there at Leona, down there in Tennessee. Shout out to Bonzi. They started it up and they said, Joe, we want you to host it. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I've always wanted to. And here we go. Pandemic messed us up, but we were about 6-7 years going strong, man. So definitely.
Hey, and hopefully even more, going strong down the road. I mean, you didn't know that you would be able to do it, but I'm gonna say you do it and you do it well, buddy. So keep that up.
Appreciate
Um,
it.
no problem, no problem. So we're here to talk about BS. And no, I'm not talking about bullshit. I'm talking about Bishop Sycamore. Yes, the school, if you will, if you want to call it that, that just happened to blow up and it was all over social media. It's an Ohio-based institution. Again, if you want to call it that, claims it's a high school, has no physical address. The football program is actually, I want to say the cornerstone, but it might be the only stone. All right, they made their way to ESPN. All right, I always wanted to play on ESPN, never happened. But these guys get to play on ESPN against a national powerhouse, IMG, that's produced many blue chip prospects that are going all over the country to these Division I schools. What was your take? Not getting into the game, so to speak, but afterwards, once you started hearing about this high school, what was your takeaway from that? Once you got up to speed on it.
So like our like bad words allowed on here and stuff, or we don't do that. That's okay. Bad words are good.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so this institution, when I heard about it and like just ran it all down the whole story, this is every hood nigga's dream. Bruh, you have a school you don't have to go to. There's no address. You still get to play sports. There's no grades. You get
None.
to travel, and while you're at it, you get to do crime. You get to steal and survive. It's like every hood nigga's dream. And matter of fact, it's grown hood niggas' dreams because they was on the team too. So
100%.
so you got 22-year-olds smoking squares at halftime in the locker room, like, man, these niggas blowing us out. I mean, and then without anything to do with the NCAA, you end up
None.
on ESPN and play against a powerhouse on Sunday when football hasn't like officially started with like the big prime time. That was the only thing on Sports Center because we know how Sports Center, I mean not Sports Center, but ESPN is.
Right.
And my God, like it's amazing. It's amazing. Like it's going into the Hood Hall of Fame. I think it's I thought it was amazing that they pulled this off. Like the circumstances, not professional. I'm mad about that. But anybody that was on that screen that day, shout out to y'all third year seniors in high school. Like it's amazing. So I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened, man. What you think? What was your thoughts on it? Because you from the south side of town and
Right.
y'all had that Walmart across the street, and I know how y'all get down across the street over there.
Look. That's definitely a different take away from what a lot of people think. What did I take away from it? You said it's every hood nigga's dream. Like, listen, like I would have loved. Like, listen, when I went, we played at Anderson University, whatever, played college ball. But when I went back to watch high school football, I was like, man, I would be out here killing these boys. You know what I mean? I would be out here killing these boys, but. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm watching a national powerhouse high school, but that was my takeaway from it. To be 19, 20, 21, 22, playing a high school ball, yes. I mean, my takeaway from it was, how did they let this happen? That was my takeaway. And my second takeaway from it is, why doesn't this happen more? But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Actually, the institution, school, whatever, had a website that had an About Us completely blank. Completely blank. I mean, the site's taken down now. You know what I mean? But it was completely blank. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's anything positive to take away from it. I mean, if I was playing, I definitely wouldn't be wanting to get trounced 58-0 like they did. But let me go ahead and bring in the actual game film because really, but to be out there in the game, playing on ESPN, getting absolutely destroyed, and the commentary is, confused as hell to say the least. I mean, this is crazy. But here's the game film. And if you got anything to say,
Sycamore,
go ahead and chime in.
Mystery in this game.
Well, they are a bit of a mystery of what type of team we're going to see. But the one thing we know about this infant stages program is that they are trying to help more kids have an opportunity to not only play high school football at a high level, but potentially to move on, get an education, and play scholarship level football in college.
It's an online-only charter school first. Carnell Tate has an opening. Yeah. Finally taken down close to the low.
Surrounded him coming out of North Fort Myers High School. That type of back.
End zone hauled in by Tate with one hand. Before the game that the offense would stay out on the field, here they are. And IMG will take over. The ball comes out. Out of the empty look. Duffy, low throw, it's caught. And reaching across the goal line, it's Carnell Tate. His second touchdown. It's on this IMG Academy defense. Saab, Jihad Campbell, and Dylan Everett. Harris in trouble and engulfed back at the 12-yard line. He had 3 runs of 50-plus yards last week. Allen again. Still fighting into the end zone from 12 yards out. Second 15. Let's see if this is a punt or they go for it. We were told that Trillian Harris will do the punting. He's the quarterback as well. And the kick is blocked out of the end zone. That's a safety. Pittsburgh, Charles Woodson, Drew Pearson. Long time coming for Pearson. This one is tipped and intercepted by IMG. Trayvon Howard. Punishing style to his running.
Yeah, he runs angry.
He runs into the end zone too. That's twice now. From the 15, Harris will throw, backpedaling, and Jihad Campbell, the Clemson commit, gets the sack. He'll get stretched out. Pollard punts it away. Chance for a big return here. Sean Miller. Bishop Sycamore told us they had a number of Division I prospects on their roster. To be frank, a lot of that we could not verify. And they did not show up in our database. They did not show up in the databases of other recruiting services. So it's okay. If that's what you're telling us, fine. That's how we take it in. From what we've seen so far, this is not a fair fight. And there's got to be a point now, Lugs, where you do worry about health and safety.
I already am worried about it. I think it's this could potentially be dangerous. Prospects at some point need to start getting a lot of turns.
On the fly sweep, it's Sean Miller. Stiff arm, end zone, touchdown.
Put the ball at the right place. You got to get out of a bad play and into a good one, and you got to be able to run the show.
Gage reaching, and he is in. It's not Maxwell or Heisman either.
It's not Butkus. Is it Thorpe?
It's Thorpe, Jim Thorpe.
There you go.
This one's picked off. Jim Thorpe would have liked it. Second quarter. He'll hand it off. It's Gage, and he'll waltz in. 50 for IMG. Intercepted again. They give it right back. And Adeyanju Willie makes it a pick six. They win it 58-0 against Bishop Sycamore.
So after seeing that, you do got a bit of glare coming in the blinds right there behind you. There you go. So just after seeing that absolute beating, you know what I mean? We already weighed in on that's what every kid in the country, especially in high school, wants to play on ESPN. Like that's a dream in itself. You know what I mean? So after seeing that beating and seeing the content that the commentary had to offer, what's your takeaway from that now? Because I don't know if you've been able to see that film before or not.
Well, so my first thing is this. Who did they contact? Because this has to be the most First of all, you didn't verify any D1 players and any blue chippers, 5-star recruits you said that you have. They didn't verify anything. Like, I feel like I should have took Max Kellerman's spot. I feel like I should have said I used to report for anybody at this point.
Right.
I mean, that's how easy it is to get an ESPN. Like, and so this is what I would say too. They've been so busy making all these cuts and stuff. ESPN has, like, when I watched Stephen A. Smith walk in to go against come on, man, what's his name? Wide receiver, Irvin, Michael Irvin.
Yeah,
He's
Mike
walking
Irvin,
in,
yep.
making his entrance, right? And there's an empty office at 10 o'clock in the morning with the lights off. That Stephen A. is walking, like, cubicles and stuff everywhere. Nobody's working at ESPN at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. That tells me, that is telling. So that department, the research department must have got cut, and it was like, all right, man, just go with it. Just send it. Like, you had to send people to Ohio to do this, okay? And then not to mention, was that Hall of Fame game weekend? Like, was that that was the logo in the middle of the field for Hall of Fame, right?
It was played in Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, 100%.
That's insane.
Very.
man, some of them dudes just got to live their dream. They lost. They had 0 points. It reminds me when I was in AAU, when I was in 8th grade, we played against Greg Oden. I got a block on him. That's all I
Really?
got.
Wow, that's impressive.
But we got beat like 100 something to like.
You got beat like a drum.
I couldn't get the ball up the court. Like, it was insane. I've never played anybody like that before. I've never seen
We
it.
had Mike Conley Jr. as well.
It was insane. I couldn't do anything.
Right.
And, side note, he had a very small car, and it was hilarious.
Hey, but I'm sure, you know, some decent, if not great ballers have definitely came out of the area. So no disrespect to them, but yeah, definitely Lawrence North was a powerhouse. And I don't know if Conley was on the AAU team that you're speaking of, but having Greg Oden, who was the #1 pick in the NBA, that says enough in itself. But getting back to this, you mentioned that all they did was they said they had a bunch of blue chips. They said they were a good team. So ESPN just believes them? Like why couldn't Coach Ho or Coach Paul back when we were in high school just be like, hey, we got some D1 prospects over here, you know what I mean? Get us on the stage. Like, I just feel like that's stealing the opportunity away from the schools that are actually good, and I feel like it's shame on whoever ESPN contracted to get the teams in this game. If you were a player on Bishop Sycamore, we're going to get into all the craziness that's actually what Bishop Sycamore is, but if you're a player on Bishop Sycamore and quote unquote the plays have been coming from Madden football, but the routes look like one receiver, they're like, you go far, and the other receiver, you go far. That looks like the dynamic of their offense. So if you were a player on this team, do you, even though you're getting trounced, do you quit on this team? Or do you still try to give it your all, even though you are completely outmatched? The team is not really a team at all. Do you quit on this team because obviously you're not even in high school playing high school players? And I'm saying quit, but I know that in high school or any type of competition, integrity, you're not going to quit anything. But in this situation, you're a grown man playing against, high schoolers, and you're getting trounced. Is this embarrassing to the point where you stay on the sideline, hit the locker room, or do you still stay out there and get your, for lack of better terms, ass beat by this high school?
I, for one, believe 100% that somebody during that trouncing, somebody on that team went over there and kissed their baby mama and their kids at some point. I'm convinced that happened. Like, they were just sitting in the stands, just watching the rest of the game. I'm convinced that happened. But if it's me, I say this is the first of all, if I know it's a sham, I'm pretty sure I know that this is a sham at this point. Like, we've gone to 2 practices. I 100%, I'm going to try and get some footage out there though. Like, I'm going to be over there like, hey, pass me the ball. I mean, you saw me in college where I was like, hey, pass me the ball. And it was just like scout team stuff. Like, pass me the ball, bro.
Yeah.
I would be doing that right then and there. Like, just pass me the ball. Let me get some footage on here. Because, I mean, apparently they have a guy that's going to Clemson on that team. So, like, if I can make a few plays against guys like this, I might be able. So I'm still going to have my self-interest because I believe that I got on this sham of a team for self-interest anyway. So at this point, I'm probably just trying to get some tape. I mean, that's what I would do. I would not quit. I would do my best to, like, at least, like, I know he couldn't get the ball off, but did you see how I burnt this dude? You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do.
Exactly.
I would get some film out there.
I completely agree with you, bro. I'd be like, this is ESPN. I'm on national television around the country. You know what I mean? People are streaming this in other countries probably. It's ESPN. What I'm saying, I completely agree with you. Give me the ball. I'm trying to shine. But what I'm saying is that obviously there is a strain on this football team because of where they come from or where they don't come from. But Do you think a recruiter and you said there was a player that was going to Clemson? I'm assuming that you meant on the IMG team, right?
No, that went to go hang out with their family and their
No, no, no,
kids.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
You said that they're
Clemson,
playing.
Clemson recruit.
They were on IMG. That the player that was
Correct.
being okay. So yeah, you're playing against a powerhouse that's gonna produce Division I prospects, and if you can do something good against them, you might turn some heads. But at the end of the day, Joe, like, is a school really gonna be like, you're not even really a high schooler anymore? Like, you're not, for one, and two, do we really want to get in bed even partially with Bishop Sycamore? Like, is this really going to help you as far as your aspirations to be a collegiate athlete, or is it just for clout? Ultimately,
Okay, so that was a fair point that you brought up. Do they want to get in bed with Bishop Sycamore? Because they're going to have to say recruited from Bishop Sycamore. We
exactly.
cannot. So there's the clout for Bishop Sycamore right there. They may be able to get some more like JUCO dropouts, but I I think eventually it would be for clout. I would have a YouTube video out at some point of what I did to Bishop Sycamore if I indeed got to make a few plays. And I feel like somebody would pick me up. Now, it's not going to be a D1 powerhouse because they definitely won't do that. But maybe I can get a run at Wyoming. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can. I don't know. Would Ball State go for that? I mean, I think if I beat a couple of people, I mean, after the trouncing that I'm seeing from that they're getting from Penn State at this point, I mean, I might stand a chance. I might stand a chance to get into a mid-major or something. Maybe go to Buffalo. I don't know, but there's a chance because. But what's it going to hurt if I'm going to Bishop Sycamore already? If I'm already a part of that, I'm already obviously not where I want to be
That's
football
fair.
career wise. So I mean, it's not going to hurt. So either way it
That's
goes,
that.
I got a cool ass story to tell, or
Hmm.
or shit. I might get an opportunity.
That's definitely fair. This is the second part of this two-part question, if you will, is they're not actually going to school. I got a quote here that says from one of the players that says that the fullest extent of their schooling was they took us to a community library once. So with that being said, we don't know what their players' grades were like. I mean, that's gonna matter getting into a college university. Maybe not a JUCO, but some of these are JUCO dropouts. So, like, or do you even have the grades to go to these schools? You know what I mean? Like, that's another thing. So, I guess the second part of the two-part question is, like, if you're not going to school, but you're playing on ESPN, are you doing more good for yourself or bad by being associated and being on TV on this team?
If I'm a regular high schooler, I definitely would be wanting to go a better route, unless like
Right.
I knew for a fact because that is a tough area to what are they got like outside of Cleveland or something like that? Is that where they're at? Like somewhere
Columbus,
outside
I
of there?
believe. Columbus.
Oh, outside of Columbus.
Yep.
So we know that's football powerhouses everywhere. So with that being said,
100%.
if I 100% know that I really want to play football, but like Ted Ginn Jr. is ahead of me, and I'm no Ted Ginn Jr., I might
Right.
try a different avenue if my parents would allow it and if they believe in me, because you're just not gonna get any playing time with those type of guys on the field. But if I'm a regular high schooler, I think I'm going to tough it out. And if I feel like I'm good enough, I'm going to go to a JUCO. Especially with the way that not because they didn't have. See, they have resources now where they can sell themselves. Whereas we had to wait on Coach Ho and Coach Paul to send off a tape or hey, are you sure you want to go here? No, I can just put my stuff on the internet and then the colleges will come to me. You know what I'm saying? So that was
Right.
it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, I mean, if I'm a regular high school and I'm really supposed to be in high school, I think I need to go to regular high school. But if I am a JUCO dropout and I somehow get the pass for a high schooler, I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it. If they did that today, I'm at the age of 33. If they somehow could let me pass for a bearded 18-year-old, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to laugh and joke, and I'm going to play against Central and Monroe Central. I'm gonna toast their ass.
Absolutely, man.
And it's going to
Like,
be for clout. Now that's going to be for clout.
I mean, I mean, think of the athlete you were at, at 21, 22, or what, or you know what I mean? Do you really think, like, from a defensive perspective, if you were at wide out, these kids are going to be able to guard you? Do you
No, no,
really,
not at
like?
21, 22. There's no way. Even those IMG kids, that corner, there's not a corner that's 18 in the fall of their senior year that would be able to guard me. Because I, as a freshman at Anderson, I was a much better football player than I was as a senior. Like I grew up a little bit, so like my body was that much better. Like I was
Right.
damn near like a fresh 17-year-old, but like to be a grunt like an 18-year-old at that time, man, my body was much better. So with that being said, oh hell yeah, put 21-year-old Joe Jones out there with some seniors in high school. I'm about to tear their ass up. But
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
but for
dude.
whatever reason, they didn't.
I can't believe that these guys are this old and they can't block, and they're getting blocked by these guys that are younger than them. Like, if you're a man, like I get it. I get it. At 21, 22, you're still a young man, but you're a man. You're not a high school student. That you're not a teenager. You know what I mean? And you're out there playing against an offensive and defensive line. Let's go from that perspective. And you can't block these guys, or you can't get through the line. How embarrassing is that? That's another reason why I brought that up, because the embarrassment alone, because everybody knows, hey, we're playing high school people. You're this age, but we're getting our asses beat. But that's just a level of embarrassment. Obviously you made a really good point, and I already said that, but I'm saying it again. You're on the stage. Make the most of it. Make the best of it. Get out of it what you can. But, at the end of the day, like, that was their second game in 3 days. Like, that's true. They played 2 games in 3 days, and they got their asses beat in the first one too. But what I'm saying, after 2 ass beatings like that, you got teams that have filled your schedule canceling on you left and right, left and right. There's not really a season left. Do you return next year if you have the opportunity to?
I mean, after this, and I'm sure after all the sanctions that are about to go against the school, like now that everybody is like, now they're hip to you. Are you even a school next year? Are you even a school? I mean, are you even able to, however you, I mean, they pulled off paperwork across the,
Wait till you hear what I have to say next. Go on though.
but I mean, they pulled off like some kind of, like whoever does the grant writing and stuff, like he had to have gone to jail, because I believe there's some felons involved too. Like I believe that they had to go to jail for like being the biggest scam artist that was like, oh, I'll just write this up. I'll make us an accredited school. I'll make us to where we can say, oh, we have a football team, come play us. And you have these people come all the way from Florida, put on a stage, and then top it off, your next game was against a Texas powerhouse. Oh my God. Now they're going to run the ball. And that's, you know how they do in Texas. So you about to see like the number 5 running back in the nation or what have you. I mean, dog, I just don't think that there's going to be a school anymore, because they are, I mean, and they have the nerve to fire the coach, but I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But I'm just saying, like, there's so many different reasons why I don't think that this will exist anymore. Like, I think it's going to be done.
All right, well, you might not think that this whole sham will exist next year, or beyond that, but listen to this. Christians of Faith Academy. All right, don't know if you've heard of this institution, but it was there 3 years ago. It was created in Columbus, Ohio, same area that Bishop Sycamore was created in. No physical location. The head coach, whom we both said has been fired, was the head coach. Same thing. Fake school. Doing the exact same thing. They changed the name to Bishop Sycamore. They're still doing it. So,
hey, what? Is this this is a legacy school?
Yes, I'm telling you, they changed the name. The same people that were behind the first school, Christians of Faith Academy, are behind Bishop Sycamore. Like, how does this happen? Like, what? Nobody's checking in for anything with the school administrations. In Indiana we got the IHSAA, whatever it is. Like, what are these guys just sitting on their hands? Like, you gonna tell us you're a school? They're supposed to be an, I think it was an online only or some type of scholastic institution that was online only that had future plans to have a campus. But they've been doing this before. They've already been in shambles before. They changed the name, kept the same personnel. Like, Joe, how does this happen? How does this happen more than once in the same area with the same people doing the same thing, and you make it to ESPN and nobody's in jail? What? How does that happen, bro?
First and foremost, I'm seeing a pattern. Basically, you got to start a school and make it have some sort of Catholic or Christian tie-in. So you got that going. I don't know what bishop's name is Sycamore, but apparently this bishop is a thing. And then you go with the Christian Academy, like, oh, it's a religious school, so I mean, it's got to be real. Nobody would use religion to lie, would they? So with that being said, I think this happened during a very conservative America during that time. But with that being said, like, they wouldn't lie. That's religious institution. So that's step number one. Secondly, all jokes aside, what does that say about our education system? Are people just clocking in and collecting checks and just saying, looks all right, just sign some paper and you go back off into doing whatever you were doing? Like,
Right.
maybe you're working from home as a school administrator. You're watching clickbait or something on Netflix. And then, there's like this piece of paper that comes across and you just sign it off and say, here, you're a school. That's so many levels. Like, who's making these schools a thing? Somebody has to sign off on this. The state of Ohio is responsible for what happened at ESPN, because there's no way you don't say, hey, we're starting a school. All right, somebody should go and inspect how they plan to do this. Now, I don't know if they hired a whole bunch of actors or whatever they did and just like did this some kind of like Hollywood set or something.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, stand here and act principally. You be secretarially. You be the fun-loving PE coach, and they just go in there and just I don't know if they rented out a YMCA. I don't. Something's not right because nobody checked on this. And Bishop Sycamore was a school before the pandemic. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was.
So don't tell me, oh, we couldn't go check it out because of social distancing or because of the corona. Something's not right, and that's the alarming part. And I'm talking about for the youth of Ohio, because not only do they have presidents over Bishop Sycamore and somehow approve them as a school, but what about the real schools out there that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing? And they're accredited
Exactly.
schools, the real schools that actually have brick and mortar. So I'm concerned for LeBron was right to start his own school.
That's a
At
great
this
point.
point, the state of Ohio has a huge problem. If they let this, Columbus, that's a big city, and you talking about the Buckeyes. Shout out to them. I hate that they lost, but you have that kind of crowd that comes to Columbus. Like, these are big wigs. This is Ohio State. This is everything is football. And you mean to tell me that you didn't have sense enough to go check your checks and balances on a stinking school that says the only time they did something was when they went to a library? How big was this library to house a football team and the rest of the schools? That what happened? Like, it's beyond me. Now now it's a whole nother thing. Matter of fact, let me write this down. Talk shit about Ohio education system. Got it. Kidding me? What is this?
Got you.
Joke.
Got you. I actually got some information on the administrator that's the head of Bishop Sycamore. He's actually still trying to keep this thing going. Name's Andre Peterson. He played for Jim Tressel in the 80s. He's the founder of Bishop Sycamore. He coached the offense and defense. Say again?
Here come the Tressel jokes. Okay. Scandals. Yeah. He learned from the best scam artists.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, this guy was an active coached the offensive, defensive lines. He said the program's mission was to give the kids another chance to play college football. Here's a quote from him. "There's nothing that I've gotten out of this that would constitute it as a scam, because I'm not gaming the system and I'm not gaining anything financially from what we are doing." And that's what he told USA Today Sports on. It says Monday, but I don't have the actual date. He also went on to say the reality of it is I have a son, Javon, that's also in the program, has been in the program for 4 years. So, okay. So you got your son in the program. You're saying you're not gaming the system. There's nothing scam that you're getting out of this. Okay, so when a school is on ESPN, you're telling me those schools don't get any type. I know the players aren't getting paid, but the schools are definitely getting some proceeds. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
That's how that works. I remember when Muncie Central in the Milan rematch game or whatever was on there. Muncie Central got a piece of the cut.
Right. The institution got a piece, right?
The institution got some money for that. Both schools.
Right. And then you got your son on the team, and you said he's been in the program for 4 years. We're gonna make it 5 next year, 6 the next year. Like, what? How long can you be in this program? Obviously, you have people that are older than what kids are in high school. So, what? Listen, I'm gonna tell you what I think, and then I want to hear what you think. Because the question is, do you agree with what he's saying? Do you think that he's just doing things positive for these kids? What he's trying to come out there and say? Look, I'm 100% sure that you're getting money. You are getting money, and your kid is playing, and he gets to play on ESPN. You're definitely getting something out of this. Also said the school has between 75 and 80 students, and tuition costs $2,000. Joe, what do you think, bro? What do you think based on the information that I just gave you? The quote, the money that they pay. Obviously, they definitely don't have 75 to 80 students. I'm gonna have to see that. You're gonna have to show me. But what's your takeaway from that? $2,000 to go there? You're not even going to school? Let me stop. Go ahead.
I mean, 2 bands, tuition. What?
Yes. 2,000.
So this is where I'm at. If this is why I would pay $2,000. We'll give you a second chance. We'll put you on ESPN. That's the same as saying if you pay me 2 bands, you can open up for Jay-Z. If you pay me 2 bands, you can open. Like, that was the whole goal, was that one day. That's what I'm thinking at this point.
I didn't even think about it like that. That's a great point as well. Go ahead.
Pay us 2 G's, bro. We'll get you on ESPN. You get you some film, and you gotta show out when you get up. That's how I would sell it to people if I'm trying to make 2 bands. We'll get you equipment. We'll get a couple practices, man. But you'll get to play at the Hall of Fame Coliseum. You'll get to do all this stuff for 2 bands. Now, I remember when I was a kid, they were trying to do some kind of like American All-Stars, whatever, and they were like, hey, if you pay us X, you got chosen to do this, and if you pay like $1,600, $1,200, something like that, you can go to Australia and play football in Australia in this All-Star game. I'm not paying that. My grandparents aren't paying that for me to go to Australia and play football. They're not about to, for like a week or two. They're not about to do that. But there are some people that, I feel like will pay that. And I feel like that's all that was, is just paying for an extra opportunity.
Right.
Honestly, like, thinking back on it, I probably should have just based upon like my senior year. Like, I'm thinking about my senior year, like, I kind of had like the jitters and stuff. I had my coach in the back of my head. I wasn't there mentally, but when you see me, in practice and then flashes on screen, you're like, yo, this dude can play D1 easy. But, so once I got my mind together, I'm like, oh shit, I really could have. What if I had an extra chance to do that? So if I go, instead of my fall season, go in, after that track season, my summer going into, college and going and playing down there, maybe I do sign somewhere else. Maybe I do it, and maybe I do enroll somewhere else. So, we can look at it in that way, is like, I do have a second chance. It just cost me 2 bands.
So you're saying, based on that take, are you saying that you agree that he's not gaming the system? He's not trying to scam people, that he really is wholesome and he really is looking out for the kids and really trying to get them another opportunity to play college ball? You agree with that assessment? I mean, you agree with his quotes of what he's trying to do? I'm not saying you agree. Do you believe him Do you believe the man?
I do not, because in this case, you're not paying Jeezy to come and then get these rappers to pay. All you did was you figured out a way to get ESPN to get there and say, hey, I
Right.
secured a slot with ESPN. If you want to play on ESPN, I need 2 bands. I got that together. It doesn't cost them anything. So
Right.
this is without, you got matter of fact, yes, ESPN, you got Jay-Z to come to town. Now you get an opportunity to go rap in front of Jay-Z now. You get to go play football in front of anybody that'll watch it, that'll tune in and watch this. I'm sure people watched the first couple of series at least, and then was like, this is a crazy game. Like,
You
I'm
got not only just regular people that are the spectators, but you got college recruiters watching this game, like 100%. This is a nationally televised game. You got recruiters in attendance. You got recruiters watching around the country. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I is he providing? Did he provide an opportunity? Yes. Did they capitalize on it? No. The people that were on the field, like, I feel like they wouldn't even looked into it had they at least been a competitive game. But since it was not, because now it's like, you know what? They're losing 30-something to 0. So who is a blue chipper? Who are we supposed to be watching for?
Right.
Recruit. So
Right.
now
They
I'm
didn't
starting to question. And like, we
That's
know
exactly
that this guy's going to Clemson. We know that this guy's going to Notre Dame. We know this guy's going to Florida.
Right.
And then you're like, so who's going where on? Now you start doing your homework in the middle of the game, and you like, yeah, we can. I just want y'all to know we can verify. And I'm sure as the announcers, maybe that was like, who are these kids and who's going where? Because I haven't. We don't have a highlight. What's my job? Who are these kids? And then somebody gets on the microphone or gets in their earpiece and is like, yeah, we actually don't know.
Yeah, we have no fucking clue.
We
Exactly.
I'm sorry, we don't know.
Let's go ahead and move on to the coaching situation. All right, the coach who was in the video sipping on the Gatorade water bottle, what have you, Roy Johnson. He was the head coach until just recently had an active arrest warrant. He's out there coaching on ESPN with an active arrest warrant for fraud. Okay, real true story. This is what the founder, the Peterson guy that I just introduced, he says that he was let go only for not only for the poor performance against IMG and the game before, but more so for poorly keeping track of injuries. Okay, so if you're not aware of this, there were injuries during this game on the side of Bishop Sycamore, and the commentators didn't have a clue who these guys were. Somebody could have been stretchered off of the field and sent to, or airlifted to. Anything can happen. It's a dangerous game. It's a contact sport. Anything can happen. They have no idea who these players are. So, do you really think that this guy fired him because? This is my question. Do you think he was fired really because of the poor performance, or really because of the poor keeping track of the injuries, or do you think he was fired because of the social strain that he created? Now he's the face of Bishop Sycamore. He's the head coach. This Peterson guy, nope, they're not really looking at him. They're looking at the head coach. So, do you think he was fired because of the negativity that he brought to this, whatever you want to call it, having the active arrest warrant, and the performance that his team put out there, and the absolute joke that was Bishop Sycamore on that football field? Or do you think it's, what he's saying, the injuries and whatnot? Because he's still trying to keep this thing going. Go ahead.
When it comes to businesses and the higher up stuff, and something goes awry, somebody's got to be the fall guy. And I feel like after this happened, after it blew up, they had to be like, okay, we want to keep this thing going. And in a sense, it is your fault. Like, they all met at the local hole in the wall and had a beer. Some ordered Hennessy, some got some Crown. Some people try to act like, oh, brother, I don't mess with that. I'm really trying to help the kids. We had one brother that was drinking just water, you know what I'm saying? And what ended up happening was they said, hey, bro, you fucked up the money, man. You know what it is. You said you could do this. You said you could coach these boys up.
Right.
You didn't do that. Now you fucked up the money. We supposed to play against Texas next week, a big school in Texas, and now they done pulled out on us.
Right.
You fucked up the money. And so he said, I know. They still homies and stuff. It's just, it ain't that love like they used to show. Just they see each other at the mall in Columbus, and it's like, what's up, bro? And they keep it moving, like where it used to be all love there. So, they probably was all childhood friends, and he said, I can coach this team.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not hold up his end of the bargain. Like, that's like if y'all set up a heist and the dude didn't fill the car up, the getaway car. That's his fault. He's out. But we're gonna keep a heist, and we're just gonna find somebody that can do better. So hopefully, that's what I think happened. I think he's the fall guy. Also, I mean, we just got done talking about the Ohio education people.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to get on the state of Ohio, their police people. We need to get on the law enforcement in Ohio because they clearly suck. Like, it's live. I would have arrested his ass live on TV. That would have been the icing on the cake of this. That would have been the funniest thing if they came at like halftime and arrested him. And then ESPN comes back like, Bishop Sycamore's quote. You maybe noticed that their coach is not on the sideline anymore. He was arrested. According to Rachel Nichols, who is no longer with us, but Rachel Nichols was at the game for whatever reason and trying to get her job back, and she reports that Bishop Sycamore's coach has been arrested. He had a warrant for fraud. But y'all let this man be on live TV for basically 3.5, 4 hours, unarrested on a warrant. This is just we really need to re-examine Ohio, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Just top to bottom.
I agree with you, Joe. He was definitely 100% the fall guy. Do I think that, knowing what I know about the Christians of Faith Academy and then him being a part of this, he might not be the head coach anymore? Well, I think he's still playing the background. This school, or whatever, I keep saying school because that's what they present themselves as. I'll get to that a little bit more in a second. They started with 10 coaches, coach for every position. Then they were down to 2, which were the only 2 that you saw in the game on the sidelines because the rest of them weren't getting paid. Okay, so they all quit. They got a new coach now. Well, a guy that introduced himself as a new coach named Tyron Jackson, and he came out recently and said, "We are not a school." Okay, so their new head coach says that they're a school. But the administrator, the founder, keeps trying to say that they are. So if you got a new head coach who's out here doing interviews, introducing himself as the new coach, and you as the founder or whatever you are, you're not contradicting that this man is the full coach, the new head coach, but you guys are on the different sides of the fences. You're out there saying that you guys have, curriculum, you're an actual institution. But he's saying you're not a school at all. You know what I mean? Like, how does that even happen? Like, I know this whole thing is a how did this even happen thing. But if you got your new coach, like, you guys' wires are so crossed. Like, you're not getting, you weren't getting paid, so you quit. Two coaches stuck around. One you fired. You brought in a new guy who is completely contradicting what you're trying to say when you're playing damage control. Does this guy Tyron Jackson stick around, or do you do another interview and just say, oh well, he was just misinformed, he's new? How do you handle that?
I mean, we got to think about what enticed him to take this job, and I want to say that it's a check that Andre said, hey, don't cash this till Tuesday. The money will be there on Tuesday, but he gives him a check right then and there. But it's like, sign now with us. And I think that's what happened. And I'm 100% like, he probably went, the check has not cleared yet. So he's going to continue to say that this is not a school until that deposit is made. That's what I'm thinking, because there's no way you take this job and everybody pulled out of every game. I don't think they played a game since.
No,
So
they
I mean,
haven't. They haven't.
who am I coaching? But I'm telling you, there has to be a $50,000 check or something that you can have now. That's the only
Well,
way I'm taking that. If there's a check that's coming now, because
well, this.
obviously, oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, because obviously he has a secondary form of income, so he's just
Has
like
to.
he works at like General Motors or some factory in Ohio, and then he's like, all right, I just need to. He tells his boss, I need to be off by 3:00 though, so can I get that 7 to 2:30 or whatever, so I can make it to practice. And you take a check, a $50,000 check, and say, hell yeah, I'll coach this team and waste my time and have some sort of off-season program where hell, my quarterback, he's having an issue with working with his manager to get off work because he works 40 hours a week. He's having issues with getting off for the game. So like it's just if I'm the coach, I probably there's some disagreement somewhere, because if I made a deal with you, I'm gonna make you look good as hell. We are a school. I walk the hallways every day. I'm actually one of the main people. The kids look up to me. I've been there one day, but they look up to me. I'm going to do that. But they're beefing somewhere with them and administration. They're beefing. That's what I think is going on right now, because there's no way that we're not on the same page at all. Especially after something like this, we got to come back and have we got to come together. If we really want to do this, we got to come together and be on the same page. And that's my problem with this whole situation, is that how do you come back and not be on the same page? How? And you just pulled off the greatest heist of all time and got on ESPN. How?
Definitely. He did also go on to say that the reason why there was confusion and people thought that they were a school is because of mistake in paperwork. He calls them. They asked him. They said, "Well, you're not a school. What are you?" He said they're a post-grad football academy, which is not true, because there's people that are actually, we know that there was 20, 22, 21 players on the team, what have you, but there was actually a 15-year-old on the team too, and we'll get to that in a second before we get out of here. Yeah, but this is what I got on Bishop Sycamore. As of last year, Bishop Sycamore High School was registered as a non-chartered, non-tax supported school in Ohio. In a report filed with the state's Department of Education, Bishop Sycamore described itself as an innovative, academically accredited school, and one of the best academic institutions in the country. The report also features a bail schedule, academic misconduct policy, school year calendar, and a transcript template. Like, if you have all this, if you're reporting all of this to the powers that be, in as far as education goes, and they're just believing you, like, there was actually parents that were sending their kids there. Like, they were sending their kids there for school. And I got some testimonials before we get out of here from the 15-year-old that was on the team. But, like, this is completely failing, the kids. Like, even if, say, this 15-year-old or anybody else that was in the position playing for this school or whatever you call it, and he's out there shining, they're not going to school. You're not getting an education. Like, that is completely failing the kids, and you already said they need to look into Ohio, because, if you're not going to school and you're of the age to go to school, where you're permitted, where you can't just drop out or be, or you can't just be, what's it called when you get, where you get separated from your parents, voluntarily, I forget the word, emancipated. So yeah, that when you're actually still under the care of your, parents, and you receive things that where you think this is a real deal, you send your students off here, that's absolute criminal, in my opinion. It's criminal. Like, so, yes, somebody needs to be arrested. Like, I don't even know what the question here is, man. I'm just baffled by this even happening here. Like, if you receive all of this, as far as from an administrative perspective, you're in charge of accrediting these institutions, these schools. You receive this information from this fake institution whose coach came out and said, "Oh no, we're a football academy. We're not a school at all." But but that's not what you reported, to Ohio that got you the ability to tout yourself as a school. Do you think the administrator or the guy in charge of vetting these places, do you think there needs to be some type of legal action taken against him too? Or do you think, or do you just chalk it up to, oh, he's just not good at his job?
No. Like I think you get your ducks in a row, and I think that there's plenty of evidence here. But you get your ducks in a row, and you do bring some kind of punishment towards these people that are doing this, because if you can go for a mom that their kid is constantly tardy, or they miss a lot of school, if you can go and hit them with some kind of charge and lock them up for their kid missing too much school, you got to get those administrators that said, I'm sure there's a million emails that say, your kid doesn't need to come to school today because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. We'll come up with something. But like, and then also I do got to get, and those parents got to be, for the actual 15-year-old, like for the actual kids that went there, like their parents, they didn't do their due diligence. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do their due diligence either. You pay $2,000 to get your kid into that school, and you know how it is when you like kind of short on the basketball tournaments. You like, hey, 600 a team, and then it's like getting closer, and you can't fill it up. So it's like, man, bro, just give me 150. So some of these kids probably got in for like 600. You know what I'm saying? So there's I'm not mad at the 21 and 22-year-olds that are on this team. At this point, they've already graduated probably, or whatever, or they're taking secondary classes at Ohio's version of Ivy Tech. But from the like the people that came up with this sham of a school, they should be held accountable for this. Like I'm telling you, from top to bottom, whoever allowed this to be a school, because this would have never happened again if they had never accredited this as school and allow for them to do this. So that starts there with the bureaucracy part of it, from the government.
Keep in mind that they did it twice that we know of for the same guys. Go ahead.
You let it happen twice. You obviously don't. You see, most people get into a job, especially career, because that's something that they want to do. I do this stuff because I want to do it. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna do the best I can on this show. I hear you can make a lot of money off of it. I do this because I love to do it, and I don't even make a lot. I don't even make a lot of money off of this at all, if any, sometimes. But I love it. So when you put yourself in a position, especially when it has to do with children and their futures, and then the people that are going to be around them and help nurture them and all that, because 15, remember when you were 15 and how confusing the fucking world was? But you had that English teacher that would help balance things out whilst doing it. You had those people in the school, but at this point, these people don't have anybody to turn to. They're waiting for whatever football practice at some point. The rest of the day, they're doing God knows what. And then you say, hey, let's go to the library. And then what was the plan at the library? Y'all go around there and find your favorite book. Man, if I'm in that situation, I'm 15, I'm not reading a book. I'm in there running around. I assume it's a big library, and I'm just bullshitting the whole time. I know that. They did not have a productive day at that library, because that was literally the only thing they done. So yeah, top to bottom, we need to go back to who signed that paper to say that you are a school. Who signed that? Who approved that? Next up, because it just would have stopped there. This would have never happened.
I think a lot of this, how they kept getting from one step to the next step, I think a lot of it had to do with, oh, well, these guys said they're all right, so they're all right. And then the next guy, well, these guys said they're all right, so they're all right. Listen, before we get into the testimonials, this is a bit of the legal troubles that they've encountered. The institution is now accused of stiffing the Canton Hotel where it stayed for its nationally televised Geico ESPN high school football kickoff game. That's what it was. 25 rooms. The hotel was reported 2 invalid checks totaling a sum of $3,596, and both of the checks bounced. So the Ohio government directs the education department to now open an investigation. So, as a hotel, how do you? Okay, so you're saying, okay, we're planning, so we got all these schools coming in, or whatever. We're used to this. Is what I'm trying to get at. We're used to the schools coming in, but 2 checks totaling, $3,500, like, or more than that, really. Like, how do you not make sure those checks? Why don't you deposit those checks immediately? Because you can't do this with a hotel. Be like, cash that on this day. That's when the funds will be there. If you're a institution and you're getting $2,000 a pop, you know what I mean? Unless what occurred that you said, which probably did. You're trying to fill the team. Just give me what you got. But like, how does this hotel allow this? Like, how do they know they're not getting paid? Most hotels don't even take checks. You know what I mean? They'll have you put a card, down, or, pay cash, but a lot of them don't take checks for the simple fact of fraud. And they don't want to have a check that bounces. A lot of them don't take checks. But as a hotel, how do you let this happen? 25 rooms. Are you letting this happen because, they're playing on ESPN. We know they're playing on ESPN, so we're going to trust them. What if they do? Sit those checks in a drawer or in a desk somewhere? Like, and then after these, because they didn't even find out till these guys were gone. So as a hotel, like, who is taking payments after the fact like that? What do you think about them stiffing the hotel, Joe?
I think that like a lot of places have certain days that they deposit checks. Now, me, if I get a check, regular old Joe, I'm going on my app and I'm cashing it right then and there. Boom. But if you do it on a weekend, a lot of times that money doesn't come out until Monday or Tuesday. So you put it on the app, nobody actually sees it until Monday or Tuesday. By that time, you've already scammed ESPN and you've scammed the Marriott. so there's that part of. So there may be that technical aspect of it, and there might be the I gotta wait till my boss comes in because do you think they gave them the check when they got there? Do you think that's probably what happened? Is they pulled up and
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you really did
to reserve a room.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it was I think they knew when the banks would be able to clear or not clear checks. I think they did present the checks ahead of time, and the hotels didn't know until, because I mean, it's a football game. Football games are typically played Friday night, or if I don't know, I don't remember what day this one was played on, but I'm sure it was on a Sunday. Okay, so definitely, like, most banks are closed on Sunday, so they definitely knew what they were doing, and obviously they've got experience. I'm not privy to the ins and outs of check deception or check fraud. Not saying you are either, but obviously these guys knew what the hell they were doing. They stayed at a nice ass hotel, 25 rooms, free of fucking charge. So, I mean, they're getting on.
This is the head coach's idea.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably had a lot to do with it. I mean, he had an active warrant out for fraud. So, yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
it's all crazy.
Yeah, the man's got experience, to say the least. Not as much coaching football, obviously, but he knows how to defraud somebody. All right. Before we get out of here, let's move on to the testimonials. All right. What I'm gonna do is just gonna be rapid fire. I'm gonna give you a testimonial, you give me a take, and we're moving on. All right. Got it. All right. First one is 2 ex-players claim that the coach had them beat up a homeless man and that he got all his plays from Madden. What's your take?
Hood nigga dream.
Say again?
Going back to the hood nigga dream.
Hood nigga dream. All right. Next. Players also claim the team just showed up for games, hurting from injuries that haven't been addressed, with no practices, void of athletic trainers. Say they practiced the morning of the IMG game and that's it. Take.
Hood nigga dream.
Don't even gotta practice.
Like, that's awful. I don't even have to practice. I don't know any plays. We don't have a training staff. Somebody's grandma was out there like, come here, baby. What's wrong with you now?
Right.
Bad. Hood nigga dream.
All right.
I can only imagine the bus, man. The bus? Like, you know how like you ride around in the country and you see like a yellow bus, like you might just know him. Like, let me just knock on the door and be like, "Oh, we need you. We got a game in Canton." What? Dude, I remember Glenville or whatever where Ted getting them. They came to the Ball State football camp when I was a kid. They had their own bus that had a big G on the side of it. That's an accredited school.
Yeah.
You had
100.
those.
And I'm sure, hell, us at Southside, when we went and played at school like McCutcheon and Lafayette, you know what I mean? We had a whole charter bus. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel you on that. But you don't have a training staff? Like, you don't, somebody breaks their leg, arm, whatever, you don't have a training, that is just beyond me. But moving on to the next point, one player said they might get a hot dog every other day, while another one claimed they'd serve you tuna salad on Sunday and then try to reserve it to you on a sandwich on Wednesday. Like, what's your takeaway from that?
Are we sure we ain't talking about the Ohio Department of Corrections? That sounds like some Ohio Department of Corrections shit right there.
Definitely sounds like some incarceration stuff. Yeah, some people that are incarcerated experience stuff like that. A hot dog every other day, and then tuna salad reserved. That's a good take, because that's definitely probably. I mean, nobody will tell you that's going on, because the states will be sanctioned and shit if they have. I mean, a lot of prisons and jails especially prisons, are privately owned. So, who knows what's going on in there. But, yeah, they're pretty much living like inmates. You're right.
Obama did not take pop machines out of the schools for this shit. Okay?
Right. He did it for the health. You know what I mean? The pop's not a healthy beverage choice for a young man or a young woman. So I agree with that. But the guys,
fish.
You might get a hot dog every other day, Joe, or you might get, Sunday's tuna salad. Are you eating? You don't have anything else to eat. Are you eating?
I feel like at this point I can just leave off of campus or wherever I'm at and just kind of I think I speedway it up probably. Let me go to the gas station.
With what money? If these kids are, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say obviously, because there's a lot of.
You gotta tell me if I'm a 15-year-old kid, or you gotta tell me if I'm the 22-year-old that got today off.
Okay, I get what you're going. Because if you're the 15-year-old kid, you might be still getting you probably are getting financial support from your parents. And if you're one of the 22 whatever kids, you probably have a job on the side or something like that, as you mentioned. Some of them probably working at General Motors or something.
Telling my baby mama bring me something up here.
There you go. There you go. All right. But hear this. A few of the players also said often they had to rob and steal from grocery stores to eat. So it sounds like they don't. It sounds like they don't have jobs.
Okay, so that's fair. So now we're getting to the nitty gritty. So then then I just leave campus to steal from Speedway.
And it seems like it was a Bishop Sycamore sanctioned robbing. You know what I mean? It seems like they were telling them that that's what they had to do if they wanted to eat. Or do you think there's nothing out there that says that, but do you think that that's what was going on, or do you think the kids took it upon themselves to rob these places to eat?
Man, if I'm a kid, I gotta take that direction from somebody, and from somebody that I trust. I don't think I'm not going to be like, man, bro, we gotta survive if we want to play on ESPN. Which maybe I would do that. I think maybe I would do that. Like we got to get it how we live if we want to be on ESPN. If I would decide to go that route, but yeah, like if you got to be a grown ass man and use your instincts to survive just to play football. Yeah, I'm not there that long. But if I'm a kid, I did it because my coach was like, man, it's a Speedway down there. Get it.
Right, and your peers, which were not even actually your peers, they're older than you, pushing you to do these things.
The word peer sounds so nasty and dirty in this situation.
Definitely. Definitely.
You are not 15 with a 22-year-old best friend. It just does not work like that.
I agree. Got a couple more of these. One ex-player lost his junior year of eligibility while having to repeat the grade in time to play football his senior year. Your take? Obviously, he didn't play for them his senior year. He lost his junior year of eligibility. Tried to go back to a real school, and he had to repeat that grade because they weren't going to school. They did no school. You know what I mean? There was nothing to move him from one grade to the next because there was no schooling. So he lost that year of eligibility and had to repeat. I'm guessing some type of summer program, something they did for this kid, but he had to get it done in time to play his senior year at an actual institution. What's your takeaway from that?
Now he's starting to really think, man, it was like you said at the beginning, was it worth it? And it's not even fair because if he was an actual junior, that puts you at like what 16, maybe a early 17.
Mm,
That's not cool, man. You don't know how to make your own decisions. And like who allowed this for this to happen to this kid, man? Like I'm giving you a pass until 19. I'm giving passes until 19. No, actually maybe even 20. I'm giving passes on stupid shit you do until like 20.
mm,
And then after that, like, okay, you got to start really making better decisions. And I think you can still be taken advantage of all the way up until like probably a good 20. So yeah, man, that's at the end of the day, that's fucked up, man. He'll never get that year
it
back.
is. And that's why I asked you, is this really doing, like, it's an opportunity to get on the stage, but is this doing more to hurt the kids or help the kids at the end of the day? If you got kids mixed in, if you're, in my opinion, Joe, if you're going to have something like this going on and you're actually genuinely trying to help these kids, you don't mix the actual kids that don't need this, that actually can still go to a real school and get real schooling and play for, a real school's football team. You know what I mean? Don't mix the two. Like I don't know what this kid's situation was, or if he got kicked out of school, or what have you. I don't know what his situation was, but it was obviously damaging to him. Last one. The 15-year-old said he was recruited with promises of being on Netflix. Said the school had brochures and blueprints of how the school would look. But when he got there was no school at all, and he was just staying in a hotel, sleeping on the floor.
That's fucked up, man.
Very.
That's enough. I mean, you tell me I'm gonna be on Netflix. Mom, I'm gonna be on Netflix, especially if you tell me that in 2020, 2021, in this day and age, the streaming age, especially if that's what you aspire to do. I mean, they talk about a lot of those last chance U kids or whatever. They talk about them like now that they're going off to play at D1 colleges and
Right.
going on to play. There's somebody on one of those teams made it to the NFL. I'm not sure who it was, and I definitely didn't watch Last Chance U. But shout out to that program for trying to do what they were trying to do. But some of them cats went to the NFL. So hey, we're gonna have a show. I can use that as part of my recruitment. Like, maybe there was an episode that was about me. Like I was struggling, but then I overcame it. How
Right.
Netflix, those episodes, they write them up good for you. So I mean, especially myself and my aspirations, hell yeah, I want to go play for Net. I mean, I want to go get on Netflix. But again, I'm
Yeah.
15. Can I make that decision? Am I thinking about when I'm 30? I'm not thinking about that at 15. I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about when I'm 15, that I'm going to be on TV. That's all I'm thinking about. So I can
How
be
do
a
you?
star. I can start streaming because now they care about let me get on Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now I'll be famous and then I can tell people go follow me on Twitch because I was on Netflix. That's fucked up, man. They're too young for that
Very.
to make those kind of decisions. And the parents involved, I got a problem. But I mean, if you found this kid randomly hanging out outside, like he heard that the mom is on drugs and he always at his grandma's house and grandma kind of sickly, that kind of thing. And let's talk about if there's a predator aspect to this, man, too. Like not just to say predator, like in the way that some people would say about SA, but what I'm saying from just like in general, just preying on people in bad situations and
Right.
trying to build something off of it and use them for that. That's fucked up.
You get recruited by this institution with a blueprint showing you how the school is supposed to look. They're sending you books, a brochure, But when you get there, you're sleeping on the floor in a hotel room, and they tell you, oh, they keep telling you, oh, we're gonna start school on this day, we're gonna start school on that day. You're sleeping on the floor in a hotel room. As a parent of this 15-year-old, how do you not pull this kid out of there?
It just
Like,
says a lot about that parent. I mean, because then you got those parents that's like, hell yeah, take my child that I'm responsible for. Now I got one less one in the house to feed, or
yeah,
I got
that's a
I
sad,
don't.
harsh reality.
That's a fucked up reality, man. Some people just want to. I think that in the pandemic, I saw a lot of people saying, I can't wait till they go back to school. When you have the opportunity now to educate them yourselves. But no, you
Right,
like that little time, especially people with no jobs. Who are you to be advocating for kids to be going back to school and you're not working? So what are you
right.
doing between the hours of 8:30 and 2:30, 3 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever school hours are nowadays, and just trying to push your kid off on somebody for 8 damn hours? That's bullshit, especially if you don't work. So I mean, you got a lot of ain't shit parents out there, and it's like, well, he sleep on the floor when he go to his cousin house, he'll be all right. Man, we gotta do better, black folk. I'm gonna leave it at that too. We gotta do better.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, you don't want to think things like that are going on, but they are. You know what I mean? A lot of parents, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna say a lot. I don't know the exact, number, but there are, a number of parents out there that don't teach their kids at home. They just send them somewhere else to get. They don't. You can learn things in school. That's what it's for. You being educated, obviously, but education should not stop. Once you get home, in my opinion.
Oh, keep
Um,
going definitely after that. Best lessons is learned
exactly.
after school. Yep.
Yeah, you learn a lot of life skills at home. Joe, it's been real, man. Thanks for coming on. Did you have anything else to say about this sham of a institution before we get out of here? You got anything else to plug? Now's the time.
I just want to say shout out to my 8 and 9 year old team that I'm coaching, the Irish, this year.
I was gonna ask you about that, man. I saw on your story. How'd you get involved in that, and how's it going?
Shout out to my high school quarterback, William Bryant. He got into coaching.
Well,
We
Brian, yeah, I
started
know him.
coaching Longfellow Lions back in 2012, and now his son has come of age, and we're coaching him all the way up through there. And I think at some point maybe we'll be a part, or at least he'll be a part of maybe the Yorktown High School team, or as the coaching staff, something to that effect.
Sweet.
Dude is on his way. I think he's gonna follow his son all the way up there, and who's to say that man don't got the clout to do it, because he pretty much does. So Yorktown, y'all better stay on y'all P's and Q's, because Will Bryant and King Bryant are coming. But that's how I got him. I'm his wide receiver, man. So of course I'm always gonna be there for him the way that he's there for me. Which I don't know how Bishop Sycamore and what kind of relationships they got going forward. They
Right.
might start, somebody might be the plug on that team, if you ask me. I think that might be their relationship going forward. But shout out to them, man. We had a great win. We win against Justin Darden, who is another Muncie Central very good athlete. We went against this team, so shout out to them, man. Do you hear me? With Unico Williams, whenever the hell I want to, but typically on Thursdays. Also, Overall 99 Media, that's on YouTube, and also we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, man. Unico Williams, Uniqo, and it's pronounced Unico. So when I get on Twitch, they just be calling me Williams, and I'm like, what? No, it's Unico Williams. But shout out to y'all, man. And man, I gotta say, one more thing about the school. If you're gonna go to one of them schools, go to Cathedral or Bishop Dwinger. If y'all want to go to a real accredited school, go to one of those two. We love those. Buffett, whatever they are. Yeah, shout out to them. But I gotta say thank you so much for allowing me to be on this show, man. This was good, fun banter. It's nice to mix it up a little bit, man. And I typically I either do it by myself or I do it with somebody on my team. But it's good to come cross over into somebody's platform. And 100%, I would love for you to be on my show at some time, man. And just in a sense, we'll just chop it up.
Hey, I echo the same sentiment. You're thanking me for having you on, but really, all the gratitude is, over here. I'm definitely grateful for you coming on. Again, your show is definitely a good show, and like I said, it'll be in the description. I hope everybody that watches this goes and checks my man out, Unico Williams, not just Williams. Get it right. And again, man, it's been real. Thanks for coming on. I'll definitely be reaching out to you to come on in the future as well. And I'm on board to come on your show too. Whenever, just let me know.
100%. Yes, sir.
Thanks again, Joe. And for the rest of you guys, that's championship rounds. And as always, until next time, stay frosty.
I'm fucking good like I'm dicking down Megan. See, I'm the one that she missing and you the one she forgetting. Yeah, I'm riding presidential Ronald Reagan and I'ma look at that ass if she come near me in leggings. I drop bars, you might feel they are bizarre while I'm blowing blueberry that's bluer than avatars. I don't front and I ain't got a stunt. I just know what women want, Mel Gibson, Helen Hunt. I spit alliteration in an illiterate nation, blazing big blunts and bringing home the bacon. At AU, I was piping breezies on the low. And bro, I left the campus legend, Tim Tebow. Got niggas shitty cause bitches wanna be with me. Blue whip, chrome wheels like I rep the Motor City. I ain't bitty, but bro, just know that I'm guilty when she come home giddy. Head dizzy and her hair frizzy. I like them pretty and I don't like them too skinny. But a nigga hella picky, so I'll be single at 60. Not really, bro, I ain't trying to get a record deal. Just being real with blunts is fatter than Uncle Phil. So nigga chill and miss me with all the hater. You'll be the next clown that I will fucking humiliate. Your wife, you let me